For today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Dallas Stars, a team that in my opinion definitely had a very good offseason. A lot of people think Dallas are contenders heading into next season. For me, I'm kind of in the middle on that. A year older Miro Heiskanen is definitely going to be fun to watch and is definitely going to help the team. They signed Joe Pavelski, who in my opinion is going to be a very good piece for them. I don't think he's going to be a player that moves the needle that much in terms of them becoming Stanley Cup contenders or even be the player that he was in San Jose, but I still think he's going to be like a very good top 6 forward for them and definitely help them in terms of their depth scoring. They also signed defenseman Andrej Sekera, who's probably going to play bottom pairing minutes. Hopefully he can stay healthy because that is a nice depth piece for them. And they also signed Corey Perry to a 1-year deal. A low risk move because you never know what could happen. Maybe he stays healthy and scores 20 goals because I think he is probably still capable of that. You never know though. I wouldn't count on it, but again, if things don't work out, it is a low risk move, and I think Dallas did make a lot of good decisions this summer in terms of trying to move the needle and make this team Stanley Cup contenders, because in my opinion one of their biggest problems was the depth scoring. They didn't have much behind that Sagan, Radulov, and Ben line. The emergence of Roope Hintz from the second half of the season and in the playoffs definitely helped them, and I think if he continues to get better, he is definitely going to help them a lot in this up and coming season as well. So I definitely think Dallas is a deeper team now than they were this past season. And now let's talk a little bit about last year. They had a decent regular season. They were able to make the playoffs. It definitely helped that the Western Conference, wildcard race and the bottom teams in the division were a little bit weaker, but nonetheless, they still made the playoffs, and they actually beat the Nashville Predators in round 1, which is definitely a good sign because that team looked very strong in the playoffs. And returning next year for Dallas, you basically have the same team. Yeah, you're losing Matt Zuccarello, which definitely is unfortunate. He would have been a really nice player to keep around, but they just couldn't offer him that much money, especially since they wanted to bring in guys like a Joe Pavelski, which in my opinion is definitely the smart move. But basically, all the core guys from that team are intact and are going to be playing next year, and then you add pieces like Joe Pavelski, Corey Perry, Andrej Sekera, and hopefully Denis Gurianov is ready to come in and play in the NHL. I believe he was their 12th overall pick back in the 2015 NHL draft. He had some good seasons in the AHL, played a little bit in the NHL this past season, and you never know, maybe he is ready to come on and play like a top 6 role on a line with Roope Hintz and Joe Pavelski or something along the lines of that, because I think if he doesn't, then there is going to be a void to fill on the second line wing, because in my opinion the first line is solidified. You have Radulov, Sagan, and Ben, and then the second line you probably have Pavelski centering Roope Hintz on one wing, but then on the other wing, who are you going to have? So that's really my question for them. Who's going to be that other top 6 winger? And I think if it is Gurianov, that definitely would be a huge help for this team. So now that I am on the subject of line combinations, I'm going to go on dailyfaceoff.com and take a look at their projected lineup heading into next season. I think this website does a very good job of keeping up with the lines during the year and projecting lines in the offseason. I used this in the last video talking about the Carolina Hurricanes, but now jumping into it, they have Jamie Benn on the left, centered by Tyler Sagan, and then Alex Radulov on the right. Obviously, that is going to be their number 1 line. They always seem to click, and they're definitely a powerhouse of a first line for Dallas. And then on the second line, they have Joe Pavelski centering Roope Hintz and rookie Denis Gurianov, and that definitely would be a big help, like I was saying earlier, because that would fill a void that they would have had on that wing, because maybe if he doesn't come in, then they stick Corey Perry on that wing, and I'm not sure if at this point in his career you want Corey Perry in a top 6 role. So now, moving down to the third line, you have Jason Dickinson, Radek Faksa, and Corey Perry. I think that can be a good line. They're all physical guys, especially Corey Perry. Yeah, he can cross the line sometimes, but if he can just play a physical game and maybe chip in 10 to 15 goals, then I think that is a plus for Dallas in this up and coming season. And now moving on to the fourth line, you have Matthias Janmark centering Andrew Cogliano and Blake Como. I think that is definitely a respectable fourth line. And then the defense pairings, they have Esa Lindell with John Klingberg, Miro Heiskanen with Roman Polak, poor Miro Heiskanen, man. And then they have Jamie Oleksiak with Andrej Sekera on the third defense pairing. So all in all, I think it's solid. You definitely have the big name guys and the horses on the blue line with Esa Lindell, Klingberg, and Heiskanen all being very, very good. And then we have the projected power play units, and this first power play unit is definitely intriguing, and they should do a lot of damage. It's Joe Pavelski, Jamie Benn, and Alex Radulov up front, and then on the point you have Tyler Sagan with John Klingberg. That is a lot of guys who can snipe, who can play make, who can put up numbers, and that definitely should be a very good number 1 power play unit and put up good numbers. And then the second power play unit, they have Roope Hintz centering Corey Perry and Denis Denis Gurianov with Heiskanen and Esa Lindell on the point. Definitely solid as well. And then obviously in goal, you have Anton Khudobin backing up Ben Bishop. And Ben Bishop, in my opinion, was snubbed of winning the Vezina Trophy this past season. Yeah, it was cool that he was nominated and everything, but he had a ridiculous year. And without him, Dallas, I don't think would have really came anywhere near the playoffs. So I definitely think he should have got a little bit more credit for how amazing he was this past season. And if he can have a year similar to that, I definitely think Dallas could be one of the top seeds in the entire Western Conference. So heading into next season, if I had to say any critiques I have with this Dallas lineup or just things that I think they should add, I definitely think they're maybe missing one top 4 defenseman, because on Daily Faceoff it shows Roman Polak in that top 4. Definitely not a guy you probably want there, but I think Miro Heiskanen can do a pretty solid job of carrying him. And like I said, they do have the horses in Esa Lindell and John Klingberg, I think, to really make up for that. So I wouldn't even really call that a massive weakness. And then I think maybe they're missing like another top 6 winger. But like I said earlier in the video, if rookie Denis Gurianov can come in and do a solid job at that, then honestly that shouldn't be a problem. And overall, this Dallas team just looks really good. And a bounce back year from Jamie Benn, and maybe he puts up better numbers, because he only had 58 points this past season, which is definitely low for Jamie Benn. He's obviously still an important piece of their team, you know, leadership and just what he brings to the game, but even still, you want him to put up more points. So 65 to 75 points, hopefully he can get up around that, because obviously that would help with the overall scoring of this Dallas team. And I honestly think he should, because now there isn't as much pressure on those top guys to put up numbers, because you brought in a guy like Joe Pavelski, who I really think can just benefit everybody on this roster. And now getting into some player stats predictions that I have for the Dallas Stars heading into next season. I try to do these for basically every video I'm doing, kind of previewing a team, so I thought I might as well do it for Dallas as well. And always take this with a grain of salt. I know all the players aren't going to stay healthy and play in all 82 games. This is just kind of their points per 82 games and just kind of what I could see them scoring if they stay healthy for the full season. I think Sagan is going to lead them in points. I have him around the 80 to 85 point range. And then Radulov I have with 75 points, being their second leading scorer. And then I have Jamie Benn with 68 points, a big upgrade from his 53 last year. I know earlier in the video I said he had 58 points. My mistake, he had 53. And then I have John Klingberg with 61 points. I definitely think he is capable of that, especially if that power play unit clicks and he is the quarterback of it. I think he will put up a lot of points, and maybe even 11 goals is low for him. And then I have Joe Pavelski with 28 and 38 for a total of 56 points. A slight drop off from last year, but still a very impactful player, and will most definitely still be in a very important piece for this Dallas team. So they definitely have a lot of very talented offensive players, and I don't even have a guy like Miro Heiskanen up here in their top 5 scorers, because they just have so many good weapons. But Miro Heiskanen, in my opinion, could be like a 50-point defenseman, especially if he continues to take steps being better, because he showed he can really be great in the NHL. He was a teenager last year, and he played amazing, and was arguably one of the top 20 defensemen in the entire NHL, and that is just super impressive, and he's definitely a sophomore that I'm very excited to watch heading into next season. And now finishing out the video with kind of just looking over the Central Division and giving you guys my thoughts on where I think they could finish. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I think they'll finish, because I'm saving that for a later video where I try to predict the standings for next season. But you have the Nashville Predators, who are probably the favorite to win that division. Maybe Colorado's the favorite, but Nashville definitely super consistent and always a very dominant regular season team. And then you have the Winnipeg Jets, who didn't have the greatest year this past season, especially compared to their 2017-18 year. And honestly, a lot of people are predicting them to have a massive drop off, because yes, they did lose a lot of their depth this summer, and if they don't figure out the Kyle Connor and Laine situation, things definitely could get ugly. But I'm pretty confident that they're still going to be a very good team, and maybe a top 4 team in that division. And then you have the St. Louis Blues. They literally just won the Stanley Cup, and they basically have the exact same team coming back, and they should be very good as well. And then that leaves us with Dallas, who are going to be good in my opinion. And then you have Colorado, who are also going to be very good. I had McKinnon picked to win the Hart Trophy, because I think he's going to be dominant, and I think they're going to be a very good regular season team. And then you have the Blackhawks, who didn't make the playoffs last year, but were definitely competitive, and they got better this offseason, which that really could be scary. And then you have Minnesota, who is probably the team everyone is going to pick to finish last in the division, but they still have some good players, and you never know, maybe they could squeak in or surprise some people next season. So Central is just a super tough division, and I honestly don't even know like where I could see them finishing, because like I said, man, the St. Louis Blues should be very good. Same with the Preds, the Colorado Avalanche. I could see the Jets and Blackhawks being good as well. So if I had to predict, I would probably put them in the 2 to 4 range, somewhere around there, but I definitely think I can say with confidence they will be in the playoffs. So that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure to let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on the Dallas Stars heading into next season, and if you guys think they are contenders in the Western Conference, and also if you have any video suggestions at all, I'm always open to hearing new ideas. Make sure to drop them down in the comment section as well. And thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I will see you guys all in the next video.